this is a great pleasure for us because Jay and Molly, we feel like they're like close friends because they have appeared at the theater a number of times. They have gone into the schools with us. They have worked with us. Actually, they worked with us on one of our Grant Rogers workshops. They are, as all of you know, from having decided to come to this concert, they're wonderful musicians and wonderful people. So with that said, let's welcome Jay Ungar and Molly Basin.
Well, thank you so much. We are happy to be here. And yes, we have done a number of concerts with you guys. We love being out there at your theater. Wish we could be there tonight, but instead we're in our own living room. But that's okay because we're all here. So, shall we kick it off with some traditional music, Jay?
Yeah, let's play a little medley of square dance tunes.
All right.
Here we go. St. Anne's Reel, Teetotalers Reel, Ragtime Annie, and I'm not sure what the last one will be, but it'll be in the key of A.
You know, it just occurred to me, we have listeners out there. We might have people who have fiddles or guitars or other instruments who might want to play along.
That's right.
So we'll be in the traditional keys,
If we're
starting out in the key of D.
Yeah, you can play along at home, no problem. Wow, that was fun. That warmed us up.
Yeah, it did.
Those are four. I mentioned, I think, the titles, except the last one.
We didn't
Was
know
a
what that was
secret.
going to be till the end.
St. Anne's Reel. The second one is printed usually as Temperance Reel, but the old fiddlers I learned it from, like the great Grant Rogers, usually called it Teetotalers Reel. And then there's Ragtime Annie, and some of the old timers like to call that Raggedy Ann. Now I'm one of the old timers. But
You can call it that now.
I was in my 20s when I learned those from people like Grant Rogers, Bud Snow, and other fiddlers. And the last one was Devil's Dream. And we'll talk more about Grant in just a little bit.
Those were all fiddle tunes that were popular throughout the entire country because I heard them as a
True.
kid when I was growing up on the West Coast. But they're definitely New York favorites, that group of tunes that you just played.
Yeah, so, we could stick with a little bit of the Grant Rogers theme right now, or do a song. What do you think, my dear?
I could go either way.
We're kind of
Your
winging
choice.
it a little bit tonight. We've written down tunes that we want to play. And, yeah.
Your choice.
Okay, let's go to those jigs right
Okay.
now. So Grant, he lived right there in the Walton, New York area, kind of the home of the concerts for the music on the Delaware. And he was actually originally from Delaware County. And this gentleman was a fiddler and a guitarist and a songwriter. And he's also a game warden. And I got to meet him during tours when I was in a band called the Putnam String County Band. This would be in the early 1970s. I think Grant passed away in the late 70s. He was born in 1909 or around then. And these tunes that we're going to play are three jigs typical of his playing. I learned one of them, well, two of them off of his album. The first one is called The Little Red Barn. The second one is Larry O'Gaff. And the last one he wrote, and he named it Roger's Hornpipe, but it's a jig, not a hornpipe. He just felt like calling it a hornpipe. And these really speak of the connection between Irish culture in America and American fiddling, because they're jigs, and that's very common in Ireland, and they have a certain kind of Irish flavor. More about Irish music later. But first, three jigs from Grant Rogers. Let's do them twice each.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Three
Yeah.
jigs, exemplary of the types of tunes that Grant Rogers played. The Little Red Barn, Larry O'Gaff, and Rogers Hornpipe.
Very danceable, very danceable. It reminds me of how long it's been since I've played for people dancing. But we won't think about that. We'll
It
keep
won't be
going.
long. It's coming.
It is coming. It's coming back.
Soon. Well, maybe we should go to a song.
Okay.
And we'll stick with Grant Rogers for another tune or two. And I just learned this song. I remember him singing it back in the 70s when I first knew him. I didn't learn the song at that point, but I try to wrap my mind around it for, where is that pick?
It's right there.
We just dropped a pick. Very important.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
You will?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
See if it can be got.
No, we can't. It's stuck there.
Okay, hang on.
Got it.
There
I
you
got it.
go. Can you reach
I
it?
can't.
Okay. This is the song he wrote about the Cannonsville Dam, which displaced so many people in villages. We live across the road from the Ashokan Reservoir, and back in the early 20th century, I think they first let water in 1913, is that it?
Yes, I think they started filling it up then. Yes.
Yeah, so in the years before that, when 8 or 10 villages were lost to the construction of that dam for water for the city of New York, a lot of hard feelings were engendered in this part of the country. And although nobody who was part of that, I think, is alive today, it's almost a genetic mistrust and, in some folks, hatred that came from that, what happened back then with the taking of this valley by eminent domain and the loss of all those generations of homes that were there. Well, Grant Rogers, I mean, the reason I wanted to sing this song is it speaks about who he was as a person, and it kind of speaks to the times we're in, because he was one of the people who lost a home, and he was more understanding. He understood that there were losses, but there were thousands or perhaps millions of people that needed water in order to clean, healthy drinking water in order to live. And so he saw both sides of it. And that's just the kind of guy he was. I remember as a game warden, I once had a conversation with him about deer hunting. And I assumed, he's a game warden, he was probably a hunter himself. And he said, no, he was not a hunter. And I said, well, hunting's important in order to keep down the deer population because they overpopulate. And Grant said, that's just a hunter's excuse. An unusual guy.
Interesting. There's a sing-along line at the end of every little verse coming up here. There's a line that repeats. So if you want to sing along at any point, but that's a really good one at the end of these parts, you'll catch on.
Just lend an ear and listen to a story sad but true, while our families, friends, and neighbors search for distant lands so new. We've been told that we must leave our homes from this valley we love so dear to make room for the dam they're building here. To make room for the dam they're building. If you've ever met a child from you, he isn't sure. If he asked you for some water, would you turn him from your door? Now like him there's countless thousands leaning on our guiding hand. All they want some water from our land.
All they want
All they want is some water from our land. When the flood comes to the valley, spanning miles from shore to shore, then we realize as humans that we could have done but little more. There'll be many hearts that's broken among the young as well as old, for they'll never see the old homes anymore. No, they'll never see the old homes anymore. Have you read of good old Moses with the rod that smite the rock? And then came water for the multitude, water for the flock. Now the same has come to us today, like many years ago. We wouldn't turn our backs upon our friends. We wouldn't tell them no. We wouldn't turn our backs upon our friends. We wouldn't tell them no. An understanding guy. Peace between people.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Imagine that. So what do we got coming up here? Well, I think we're going to actually, yeah.
Which way do you want to go?
Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm thinking we should do either our Harvest Home Suite or jump into the maple sugar stuff.
Ooh, that sounds good to me. It is that time.
Maple sugar.
We spent our afternoon in a sugar shack this afternoon, playing a little bit of music, eating a little bit of pancakes, a little bit of sausage, a lot of maple syrup, and hauling some firewood, loading up the wood stove a few times, having some chat with friends we haven't seen in a long time, and having a great, glorious afternoon in the sugar bush there at the Ashokan Center. So I feel right in the mood to do this next tune.
Well, more about the Ashokan Center a little later. And this tune is called Maple Sugar, popular with fiddlers all over Canada and parts of the U.S.
I'm going to do it on guitar.
And this is one that I played with Grant many a time back in the 1970s. And we'll do the version that modulates back and forth. So we'll start in G. And
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
sugar.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
classic.
are we gonna take a tiny little break and talk to Jim in a little bit?
I believe we are.
Why don't we do one more song
Okay.
and then do that? So we'll give you a little warning, Jim.
Want to do a kind of
The Sugar
waltzy
Shack
kind of
is what I
thing?
think we should
Oh, okay, since we're on the Maple Sugar Trail right now.
So, Molly mentioned the Sugar Shack, and some people call them sap houses. There's one at the Ashokan Center over here in Olive Bridge, New York, just down the road from our home here in West Hurley, New York. And we're so deeply connected to that place. It's an outdoor ed center and a retreat center. We run music and dance camps there, and there are programs for school kids. Of course, it's all been virtual until recently, but we're now doing some public events that are outdoors until, you know, we can do them indoors again. But the great outdoors, it's becoming spring. The weekend after this is our Maple Fest on Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Limited number of tickets. There'll be plenty of maple syrup and pancakes. Everything served outdoors. Yeah.
This morning, I was just remembering, we drove to Harpersfield, which is in Delaware County.
And we visited the Shaver Hill Maple Farm.
We
which
did.
They have 4,000 taps on their land, and then more sap that comes in from other people.
Amazing operation, and they told us about the history of their company. It was very fascinating. We had a great time, and it was a gorgeous trip over the Catskills there in that area.
That place has
Fantastic.
been in two families since the mid-1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So this song is one that I started writing, and Molly helped me finish it. And it's inspired by the Sugar Shack at the Ashokan Center. It has a chorus that you could sing along with at home. So why don't we just show people a little about that before we...
All right.
The chorus goes, you
Want to sing it or tell them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar Shack, that's where I wanna be. Slurping up the syrup
You can
with
be at
my
C if you
little
want to.
honeybee.
Okay.
Try that, everyone. Sugar Shack, that's where I wanna be. Slurping up the syrup with my little honeybee. Sap stops running, then we'll have to go back. But I'd rather stay forever in my own sugar shack. Okay, we'll just do it. Here
You'll
we
get
go.
it.
You know, I should play the fiddle on this. I don't know why I started playing it on the mando.
Because it's fun.
I think I wrote it on the mando. But
It's
here
fun.
comes the fiddle.
Okay.
Nice and easy. Well, near the end of winter, the snow begins to go. It gets a little warmer and the sap begins to flow. Me and my honey put our buckets on our back. Take a little ramble to the old sugar shack. Sugar shack, where I wanna be. Slurping up the syrup with my little honeybee. Sap stops running and we'll have to go back. I'd rather stay forever in my old sugar shack. Now gather up the buckets fast as you can. Empty all the sap in the evaporator pan. You start with 40 gallons, boil them down to 1. Keep the fire burning till the job's all done. Sugar shack, where I wanna be. Slurping up the syrup with my little honeybee. Sap stops running and we'll have to go back. I'd rather stay forever in my old sugar shack. Pick it, Molly. up the fiddle, rosin up the bow, keep the maples dancing till the sap begins to flow. Flapjack steaming at the first light of dawn, keep the fire burning till the sap's all gone. Sugar shack, where I wanna be, slurping up the syrup with my little honeybee. Sap stops running and we'll have to go back. I'd rather stay forever in my own sugar shack. Oh, the sap stops running and we'll have to go back, but I'd rather stay forever in my own sugar shack. Yeah.
Sweet one.
Well, it might be time for Jim to join us for a bit.
It's actually, I'm going to jump in and do some prizes here. So let me, I'm going to spotlight myself. So I get the pleasure of giving away some door prizes to those of you who registered and shared your address with us. So I'm going to use my fancy wheel here. I'm going to share my screen. And we will, so the first prize that you are eligible to win if you shared your address with us is a black mod mug and a gold colored mask designed by As You Wish store in Walton. So if you are the winner, we will send it to you and you will wear it with pride, I'm sure. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel. Your number. Okay, so very exciting. We have Sharon Scared. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And it looks like she's in Florida, which is really cool. All right, so she will win the mod mug and a gold colored mask. The second winner is, oh, I didn't remove that one, so maybe you'll win another one, Sharon. The lucky second winner will receive a black mod mug again and a mod magnet designed by As You Wish in Walton. We really appreciate their donation of the door prizes as well. Okay, so everybody's got their fingers crossed. All right, looking at my list here. Harriet Hyams of in Palisades. I don't have the whole address printed out on this, but Harriet Hyams, congratulations. You are the winner of the black mod mug and a mod magnet. All right, the third winner will receive the CD, The Divide, courtesy of Jay and Molly. Thank them very much for their donation of that. So, all right, here we go. All right. Oh, Linda DeWitt, congratulations. Linda, you receive The Divide, courtesy of Jay and Molly. And we will send these right to you. It'll come right to your house, which is really exciting. All right, the fourth lucky winner will receive The Quiet Room, again, courtesy of Jay and Molly, the CD, The Quiet Room. All right, here we go. All right, looking at my list, Carol Ellison, you are the winner of the CD, The Quiet Room, which is very exciting. Congratulations. And the final winner is will receive the CD, The Catskill Collection, courtesy of Jay and Molly. So, all right, I'm just going to spin the spinner.
There's chat.
Number 30, Mike Quinn of Hartwick, New York. Congratulations, Mike. You win the Catskill Collection, courtesy of Jay and Molly. And again, these will be mailed right to you. And so thanks for sharing your address with us. And so we will get those right out. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over. Actually, I'm going to make a couple announcements and then I'm going to turn it over to Jim. I just wanted to announce some of our upcoming events. We also have a Music on the Delaware Coffee House that we do every other Sunday at 7 o'clock. And so our Irish Celtic themed coffee house that's coming up is Anna Colleton and Alistair White. It's on March 21st. Again, it's at 7 o'clock. And you can find the link for that on the Music on the Delaware site. Walton Theater website, or also our Facebook page. And if you want it to be added to our email address, add your email address to our list, just send me a little note in the chat. So Anna Colleton and Alistair White will be on March 21st. And then on April 18th, we have Tom Wadsworth. So two great coffee houses coming up, again, via Zoom. Excuse me. And then our next main stage concert, unfortunately not on the main stage, but via Zoom, will be Reggie Harris, who we are really looking forward to. He's an innovative guitarist and creative vocalist and storyteller. So that'll be on May 7th. And again, finding all the information on the waltontheater.org website. Or the Music on the Delaware Facebook page or Instagram page. And let me know if you want to be added to the email list. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Jim Richardson, and he is going to do a little question and answer with Jay and Molly. I just have to find Jay and Molly now.
I was afraid you were going to say I was going to do a little song and dance, and I wasn't ready. Bill, are you ready?
We're here.
We're here.
Well,
I know, I'm finding you, sorry.
Okay. All right, you'll find us.
It's the
before we do any talking, we do have a special little thing. We understand it's somebody's birthday coming up. Yes, Molly.
I wonder who that could be.
How can we do this, Bill? Can you?
I could just start it off, I guess.
Okay.
Everybody kind of sing along. If we all have our microphones on, we're in trouble though. Because it comes in at different times. But follow me on your own time there. Happy birthday
To you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, dear
Molly.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow.
Sarah, that won't be recorded, will it?
Yes.
That's
But it
pretty
will be on our
exciting.
next CD.
That's a first. That's a first for me. It was very exciting. Thank you.
Well, Jay and Molly, as I said in the beginning, it's such a pleasure to have you here. And when I was reading through your bio of both of you, I was just fascinated by the number of things you've done and the number of the background that you both have had. How did all of this lead to? I know you did contributed to the soundtracks of a number of movies. How did that happen?
Yeah. How did that happen?
Wow. Have we ever figured that out ourselves? I'm going to start out and then let you detail it. How about that?
Sure,
Jay?
sure.
And pretty much it started out with Ken Burns, who was given an album that had Ashokan Farewell on it by two of our bandmates who were doing some other music for Ken in his very early, very, kind of starting out documentaries. And he fell in love with Ashokan Farewell, and it became part of the Civil War series that Ken made, which was a much bigger project and turned out to be a much bigger deal. So that kind of, I think, led to everything else, and I'll let Jay carry it on from there for a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope the listeners or viewers are familiar with Ken and his PBS specials, which are primarily historic, and he's changed the world of documentary filmmaking. I mean, on an Apple computer, one of your effects is the Ken Burns effect now, when you're using still photos of how he zoom in and zoom out. But that and the tune Ashokan Farewell is what led to all the others ultimately. I think the next one was Brothers Keeper, and that's a cinema verite documentary. I had no idea what that meant until we were involved with one.
It sounds so fancy, though.
And it's a film that takes where it's real life. It's not documenting something that happened in the past, and it's not actors recreating something. The story is unfolding in real life. It's kind of like reality TV before it was on TV. And that one was filmed in the early 90s and took place north of your part of the Catskills, but up in Munnsville, New York, near Utica, west of Utica and Syracuse, somewhere in that zone. And it was a story of these 4 bachelor farmer brothers. And one morning, one of the brothers was dead in bed. And the local DA decided to prosecute one of the other brothers as though he had committed a murder. And the town got behind them and raised money for the defense of Delbert Ward. So these filmmakers heard about it and immediately went up and began filming the story as it unfolded right through the trial. And before they actually reached the conclusion, they called us because of the Civil War series and how much they loved Ashokan Farewell and the music we'd done for that series. And they wanted some music that spoke emotionally of the story, but would be from the state of New York. So that was us. And I do want to mention this one other thing about it. I know I'm taking forever here, but for 10 years, we hadn't had a television. We had decided no TV. And when Ken Burns finished the Civil War series in 1990, we bought, or 91 or whatever it was, we bought a little TV with a VHS player in it, built in, so we could watch the finished product. And the first day we turned it on and I plugged in the rabbit ears, we got the one local broadcast news station, and there was the story of Delbert Ward being released after one night in prison after having been arrested for murder. And so a few weeks later, we get a call from this filmmaker, Joe Berlinger, and he says, "Did you see that story about the Delbert Ward who's accused of murder in upstate New York?" And I was able to say, "Yeah, we saw that story. It was the first news story we've seen in 10 years." It was a strange coincidence. Anyway, that tune is what led to, I think, everything we've done in film since then.
The Civil War, yeah.
And Ashokan Farewell.
Well, and I was reading that Molly, you liked the music of the 30s and 40s when you were younger, and also the swing music.
Me too.
How do you feel where's that influence on what you do now?
It's hard to say. I think that for one thing
You sing that stuff.
I do. We still perform that stuff. It's in our repertoire, and it led me to play for dancing at one of our summer camps that teaches swing music and dancing. And so I got to put together the music that I loved and why that music was written and what it got used for back in the 30s and 40s and the 50s, and connect the dancing with the music. And we still do that. We still play for dancing. I sing those songs, and it's a wonderful connection. And there's just something beautiful about the music that was written in that time, like really great songwriters, really great songwriting.
Thank you. And I think everybody wants to get back to your music. So let's welcome back Jay and Molly.
All right.
Well, we could use those questions to launch into something.
In fact, yeah. You want to do that?
Okay, well, here's the theme that I wrote for the film Brothers Keeper about the Ward brothers. We decided that if we were going to introduce music into their real life story, we needed to know them in real life. So we went up to Munnsville, New York, and we spent some time, got to meet them, meet members of the community. And the morning after we arrived home, this tune came to me and became the opening theme.
I got to retune.
Little tuning will happen here. I'll mention when the film was finished, well, Mel, just a little tuning story. Let me know when you're done and I'll stop blabbing.
I'm almost done.
We ran into the wonderful Native American performer Joanne Shenandoah at a festival, and our band and her band were kind of jamming together in a hotel, and I asked where she lived, and it sounded like she lived somewhere in the region near the Ward Brothers. I said, have you ever heard of Munnsville, New York? And she said, yeah, well, that's essentially where I live. I said, do you know the Ward Brothers? And she said, my husband hunts on their land. So there was a connection right there. It was kind of amazing. Here we go. Theme from Brothers Keeper. theme from Brothers Keeper.
Yeah. Moody.
You can find it on Netflix, I think. It's worth seeing.
It is an interesting piece of reality.
Would you consider
There.
singing a song that you wrote for that film?
Maybe.
So there were these fundraisers for Delbert Ward, and at one of them he danced he was in his 60s and he'd never danced before.
Right. They had a big fundraising thing, as Jay said. He was there and was really enjoying dancing for the first time. You could see, he's on film doing this, and you can see him being very nervous at first, and then sort of getting the hang of waltzing there, and a big smile came to his face. He was really enjoying it. So this is called Waltzing with You. All these years I lived alone, watching life just pass me by. So when you asked if I would dance, I was afraid to even try. Then I heard the fiddle playing, and suddenly I knew all I wanted was a chance to be waltzing with you. Everybody knew that I'd never danced before, but there we were together, gliding across the floor. All the years I never knew, and all the love I never knew, now I've found you in your arms while I'm waltzing with you. Everybody knew that I'd never danced before, but there we were together, gliding across the floor. All the dreams I never had, and all the love I never knew, now I've found you in your arms while I'm waltzing with you.
From the film Brothers Keeper
Yes.
and the soundtrack album Waltzing with You. And for those of you who didn't win an album in the raffle, we do have a website, jayandmolly.com, with our music and lots of books for people who want to learn tunes, some of ours, but books of all kinds.
I also want to mention that we do a thing every Wednesday evening. That's what this sign behind us is all about. On Facebook Live, we do a show called The Quiet Room that we started almost a year ago. Next week, it'll be a full year that we've done it, and it's just to kind of calm down and give some joy and some distraction from some of the other things going on in life. So it's a quiet and peaceful and happy hour and a half or so. We
It's
hope
so-
you join us.
It emanates from the Jay Ungar and Molly Mason Facebook page at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. And we do a lot of music that we learn for the night.
And
But we try to do some new stuff every week.
some of our listeners are here with us tonight because one of them won one of the raffle prizes. So I recognized, it's like, oh, okay. Some of our quiet room folks are here with us. That's great.
Well, you know, we should play something for St. Patrick's Day. We did
Don't you think?
Irish influenced music from
Yes.
Grant Rogers, but let's play some actual Irish tunes.
Okay.
One of the most famous, beautiful Irish airs is She Beg She More from the great Turlo O'Carolan, who lived in the 16 into the 1700s, I believe. He was a harp player. He was blinded as a child and then became a professional musician, traveled all over the country, and wrote some beautiful tunes, many of them for his patrons. And then we'll go into some jigs. You know what I didn't write there is the D jig that we'll go into. So, She Begs She More, then
Okay.
3 jigs, D, G, and A minor. Good?
Okay.
Good for you, Molly?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I'll do them on guitar, I think.
Sure. Oh.
Pretty good. All right.
Sorry. I spaced out starting those two jigs.
We got there though. We got there.
We got there eventually. You know what it is? We usually play those. We used to usually play them at dances.
Yeah.
And there haven't been dances, so I haven't played those.
I know, and
tunes.
it's very different to play them with no dancers, but
Well, also, I kind of assumed I had them right there in my hand, but I didn't quite. Also, we lost one of our screens. Oh, let's see. Oh, no.
there we are. We're back on both now.
Yeah, but are we broadcasting?
I don't know.
Are you guys getting us out there? I hope so.
We'll keep going
Okay,
for a
we
little
had a little
while.
technical glitch there, but I think we're okay. Great.
We see and hear you.
Okay.
Terrific.
Good to know.
So, you know, there's a tune that I started writing on the stage at the Walton Theater during a lull while we were waiting for sound gear to get set up or something.
Years
And then
ago.
Molly helped me finish it. There's a number of tunes like that where I get it started and I don't know where to go with it to bring it to a close. And this is it. It's dedicated to the beautiful region around Walton and the town, but mostly the rivers and the streams and the beauty of that part of the country. And it's called Amid the Rivers and the Streams. And we got to play it with the string students at the school locally there, which was really a very special treat. Shall we do it?
Yeah, you already said it's in our Waltz
Oh, I
book
did
there.
not say
If
that.
anybody's got it, they can play along with us if they feel
Right.
like it.
We both have copies right here. This book is called Catskill Mountain Waltzes and Airs. It's 62 original tunes by one or both of us, and they're at jayandmolly.com. So let's play this tune, Amid the Rivers and the Streams. 2 A's and a B, and then 1 A and 2 B's. Does that work for you, Miss Molly?
Does.
Okay. Amid the rivers and the streams for Walton, New York.
Peaceful, like being amid the rivers and the streams.
Kind of is.
Yeah.
Well, Catskill Mountain Home, we're running way over time, but
We
we
are.
really have to do that song
I
before
think we do. I
depart.
think there's a couple we might have to do before we part.
Okay.
All right.
Hope people aren't,
Can we
Yeah.
hold on for two more?
or
Are we all right
something
for
like
that?
that. People are still there. They haven't left. They haven't departed in absolute boredom yet.
Maybe we've put them asleep.
So this song was written, commissioned really by the Catskill Center and the Catskill Interpretive Center up by on Route 28 in the Catskill Mountains. And it speaks of longing for home here. And it also speaks of John Burroughs, originally of Roxbury, New York. One of America's most famous nature writers in the late 19th, early 20th century.
You want me to do it?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
have to really have this in my mind or I can't start. It's okay, I'll get there. Yeah. Okay. The Catskill Mountains are calling me, and I can hear that call wherever I may be. On a busy day, a quiet night, I hear the call, I see the light that guides me to my Catskill Mountain home. The sky above and the hills below, the summer rolling thunderstorms, the winter snow. Come walk the trails and soothe your soul, and let those rippling Catskill waters make you whole. Oh, well, John Burroughs, he wrote about these hills and how he loved to tramp through all the rocks and rills, where the birds are singing in the trees, the leaves are dancing in the breeze. He taught us how to love our Catskill home. Oh, the sky above and the hills below, summer's rolling thunderstorms, the winter's snow. Come walk the trails and soothe your soul, and let those rippling Catskill waters make you whole. It's for our children, and it's for their children too. The mountain trails, the mountain peaks, the scenic views. So won't you come with me? We'll walk the land, we'll sing a song as hand in hand we celebrate our Catskill Mountain winter snow. Come walk the trails and soothe your soul, and let those rippling Catskill waters make you whole. Let those rippling Catskill waters make you whole. All right. Catskill Mountain, home. I guess many of the people listening live in the Catskills, but there are some folks far away because the World Wide Web is worldwide. And you can be at this concert no matter where you are.
That's right.
You know, I saw earlier in the chat somebody who met a couple of, who lived around here and met a couple of the people whose homes were taken during the building of the reservoir.
Yes.
Did you read that?
I didn't see.
He said that one of the guys was a mule driver, a mule skinner on the cruise that built the reservoir, but his family home wound up disappearing because of the res.
Wow.
That's the Ashokan Reservoir. So if you want to know more about the Ashokan Center, please visit Ashokan, ASHOKAN, center.org.
You'll find out what's going on, what you might be able to come to, coming up in the future, either online or in person. We're doing things both sides there.
The in-person stuff is all, socially distanced and outdoors. Although we're also operating as a kind of a lodging site. You can come and stay overnight with private baths and all that and enjoy the 385 acres of nature preserve and history at the Ashokan Center.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So is it getting to be time to
I
wrap
think it
things up?
is. I think it is. I think we
Well,
have another song we'd like to do, another tune, I should say. Shall we?
Yeah, it's the one that we always close our shows with. It was inspired by that place called the Ashokan Center, and the people, the place, the land, the experiences. It's called Ashokan Farewell. I wrote it back in 1982 after our third music and dance camp for adults and families. Somebody is having a little trouble. Yeah, you guys take care of the chats. We'll take care of the music.
I want to say before you play this, though, we have played this
Yeah.
particular tune of yours for so many years, but after driving through the Catskills for an hour and a half out and an hour and a half back, and then hanging in the sugar shack in the beautiful sugar grove there at Ashokan Center on the hill, outdoors pretty much.
Yeah,
Now I have a whole different feeling about playing this tune.
yeah, that makes sense. Here we go. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for supporting Music on the Delaware,
Yes.
a worthy place.
And we can't wait till we're back there in person.
Before we play again, I just want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
It's a volunteer organization. Volunteers are what makes this stuff happen. So applause for the volunteers. Yeah. thank you again for having us, everyone, for the invite and for coming tonight to the concert.
Thank you so much. I'm going to jump in here. I really enjoyed the whole show, and I was having a great time reading down through the chat and seeing everybody else's comments too. So I hope you have a minute to go through all of those and read them. We did ask for some questions, so if you're cool with answering some questions, before I do that, I just wanted to throw out there, I know a couple of people had asked about donations, and thank you so much for bringing to light that we are a volunteer organization. So if you send a PayPal donation, just go to PayPal and then Music on the Delaware /Music on the Delaware. If you just search for that, you could do it over PayPal. And then if you wanted to mail a check, I actually just put that in the chat. So you could just, if you just check the chat, you can send it right to our mailing address. So, all right. So the question, actually, the only question that I did get via chat was, once COVID is under control, do you have any plans to restart up summer music camps?
Yeah, so we're really in the midst of making decisions about that. What we're planning to do in the spring is offer some weekend virtual camps, and then in the summer, have some form of gatherings around music. The minimum idea would be that we get people together who stay there for a few nights, and we just have time to jam, in whatever is considered safe at that time. Could be outdoors, it could be distanced, there maybe things will be easier. We'll limit the numbers and have dining be not as crowded as it has been in the past.
So you're saying we're thinking about that for this summer, for the end of this summer?
Sure.
Shorter, smaller grouped camps, and probably not dancing, or unless it's with.
Times are changing by the week.
We don't even know. We don't even know.
We'll be complying with the state and the federal regulations.
Right. We'll see where things go from here.
And they may be mostly jam camps, although there might be some classes too. We're going to have to play it by ear. We're going to do an announcement in about a week of our initial idea.
That's true.
Excellent.
Sarah,
Yep.
this is sort of a question. It's also a story about Jay and Molly. Several years ago, 4 of us went over to the Mohonk Mountain House, and Jay and Molly were performing there, and we sat and listened to the wonderful concert in the evening, and everybody got up and left, and we gave them a chance to pack up, and then we went up and said hello to them. And one of us sort of whined, I guess, that they didn't play the Lover's Waltz. Well, I have to tell you, what they did was unpack their instruments and played it, and there were 4 of us dancing in this parlor all by ourselves, and to the point where a cleaning lady came in, and she came over to us afterward, and she said, I had tears in my eyes. So I guess I'll say it again. You didn't play the Lover's Waltz tonight.
Well,
we can take care of that,
we won't have to unpack. Do it.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah, we'll play it for you right now.
So that cleaning lady that was crying, did she say, I was supposed to be home 20 minutes ago?
I didn't tell that part of the story.
Right. We don't have any other questions right now, so feel free.
Nope.
Take it away.
Okay.
All right, we'll go
for
it. We'll go for it.
Okay, well, let's unpack the piano over there.
All right.
Okay, the Lover's Waltz. Lover's Waltz. There you go, Jim.
Beautiful.
I
Thank
love that
you.
story. What a
Yeah.
great story. I
It
forgot
is.
about that, but now I'm remembering it.
Hi, I'm Linda Riddell, and I just wanted to say you brought back a lot of memories of Ernie Sager. I grew up with a family that was good friends with Ernie.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in our house playing music.
Well, that's lovely to hear that.
Yeah,
Bringing back good memories.
Great.
because thank you.
You're
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
There's one more comment in the chat that I wanted to draw to your attention to. It says, Jim Weiss says, I bought a score of Ashokan Farewell at one of your concerts many years ago and I transcribed it for cello. I've been playing it, performing it ever since. I never will get tired of playing it. So wanted to make sure you saw that.
Thanks,
Thank
Jim.
you.
So if
Well,
anybody else has any questions, you can unmute yourself. Just be conscious of other people around you too, but feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.
I just want to say happy birthday,
Oh, thank you.
Molly. And Molly, it's Sharon. And Sophie is sitting here, and we're wishing you a great birthday.
Thank you so much. And hi, Sophie.
Actually, she's almost asleep.
That's good. That's good. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear you and know that you're here.
yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Does anybody else have any comments or questions before we let them go? It's been such a wonderful evening.
Just out of curiosity, behind you, is that a banjitar or a six-string banjo there I'm seeing?
That is a 6-string banjo.
Okay.
Yeah, it lets me do what I know how to do and sound like I'm a banjo player. So that's cool.
Hi, Jay and Molly. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you.
And
It was a great
happy
night,
birthday.
and
Thank you.
Thank you great.
We missed that.
Okay, then I guess we will call it an evening. Thank you so much again for joining us, everybody. And we hope to see everybody back at our Music on the Delaware coffee houses, as well as the main stage concerts. So again, check out our Facebook page to join into those shows, and then check out Jay and Molly's website and Facebook page too, as that's where they would find the information about your shows.
Indeed.
Great. Good.
We had a great time. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Wonderful.